What's up, Games fans? Your boy Nitty. Hey man, let's get into it about this. Let's get into it about this game against Stanford, man. So the way I see it, it was a tale of two halves. Tale of two halves. I say the first half, Miami was just asleep. I don't even know what to say. Like sleep, not energized, low level. Seems still shell shocked from the Louisville game. Just look flat. They look flat. They look uninterested. They look defeated. And then the second half, a little more energy. Malachi Tony, I would say, throughout the entire game, that boy came to play. But the second half is what we thought we would get in the first half. Louisville kick your ass at home, and you got to fight because now you don't control your own destiny. You're dropped in the polls. There's doubt. That's the team we thought we would see in the first half, and that didn't happen. That first half is exactly what I was afraid of out of a Mario Cristobal team. You got everything right in front of you, everything on the line. You know what you got to do. This is the playoffs. When you're in the conference games, you're in the playoffs, and so now you got to win. Miami got to win out. You got six. They had 6 games remaining. Now you got 5. You got to go 6-0. Right, so now they won, obviously 1-0. So now we got SMU next on the road. First game leaving the state, which is going to be the big story this week for them. But the energy level, man, the ability to rise to the occasion. You're at home, right? It was a small crowd. That's kind of disappointing, considering we got a top 10 team. But hey, that's South Florida. Tell the two halves, man. Tell the two halves. I do have a message for our offensive coordinator, Dawson. Do we have any other plays besides running up between the guard or inside the tackle? Do we have any other running plays? Do we have anything that runs off tackle, anything that gets our running backs out in the perimeter? I get it. Right? We banged our head against the wall, and then eventually in the second half, it worked because I think Stanford got tired. But when you start playing better teams, you're going to beat your head against that wall and nothing's going to happen. Your quarterback's going to have to throw the ball efficiently and consistently. And I don't know. Yeah, at the second half, we opened things up a little bit. But Louisville shut the run down. Florida State, in the second half, shut the run down. What are we going to do when they shut the run down and, old number 11 got to throw that ball, right? That's still a question. We'll see, because now from here on out, I think you're going to play better teams, even though, I know SMU lost. And there's some teams like Syracuse we thought, will probably be a little bit of a challenge. But some of those teams don't look like they're going to be as much of a challenge as we thought. But you never know. Everybody brings their A game when they play the Miami Hurricanes. That's just the way it is. It's when you step out there with the U on your helmet, you're going to get the best shot from everybody out there. Now you're ranked 9th. So when they beat you, especially on the road, they're raiding the field. That's where you are. That's the program. I'm thankful for that, because for many, many years, we know irrelevant program. Not out of it already at this point in the year, because you already lost like 3 games in the ACC and stuff like that. So happy that we were able to get the win. But man, there's some things that we really, really, really we got to fix. I'm not giving the team a pass just because they blew Stanford out in the second half. Because there's some things that really, when you look at it, Miami has better talent from top to bottom than Stanford. Let's face it. I think the problem with this team, the reason why they can't get out of their own way, is due to coaching. the pre-snap penalties. We cut it down in the second half, but in that first half, we were thinking. I know you were thinking like me, like, oh boy, here we go again. We need to score, and we ending drives because of pre-snap penalties. We were able to keep some drives going. We missed the field goal there. I guess the first field goal that I got missed this year, but still, to me, we should be going up and down the field against a Stanford team, right? But that's not the case. The college football with the transfer portal things have changed, man. Like these teams there's a little bit more parity now. There's a little bit more parity across the board, and it's kind of always been like that in the ACC. I mean, I know there's been a few years where Clemson just ran away with the conference, but for the most part, they were playing a different champion. Not a different champion, but a different opponent in the ACC championship game almost every year. So it lets you know that at the lower levels of the conference, there's some parity. There's some fighting and some scratching to get to the top of that thing, and it looks like it's gonna be the same thing this year. I'm gonna get to Miami's playoff picture, college football playoff picture in a minute, but I do want to say this one thing about our offense. If we can lean on you and keep that running game coming at you, and then that thing opens up, it completely changes the dynamic of our team. Because once we got that running game going, it opened up the passing game. Football 1-on-1, right? We all know that. My only concern is when they stop the run. When you play the Georgias and the Alabamas and the Ohio States of the world. When you get in the college football playoff, they're going to put everybody in the box to stop the run. So is Dawson going to just keep banging his head against the wall and running up there, getting 2 yards, getting 1 yard? Or are we going to open it up and do something different? That's my only concern about the team, is being able to adjust on offense. It seemed like the defense, after Stanford yesterday ran through their scripted plays, they went right down the field and scored on us. We adjusted on defense. Our guys started flying around, getting to the ball. We could have had, I think, 2 more interceptions that we missed. But, I mean, just game-changing plays with the interceptions and some of the tackles for a loss. Ruben Bain, they're holding that dude on every play, man. When he come around that edge, they're dragging him down. I know the referee don't want to call it, but come on, man. Like, that dude there's no way you're going to guard that dude with one player. The refs need to look at it. When they see one person on him, you get your flag ready, because there's no way you can block that guy with one player. You got to chip him. You got to put a running back over there. But enough about that. Defense adjusted, and I think that's another thing that changed that game in the after that first drive, and then the rest of the game. I mean, they were flying around. I just wish that our offensive coordinator had a little bit more creativity to get guys out to the perimeter. We got speed, man. Get them guys out to the perimeter, which is, you kind of saw a little bit of it in that second half. But we got to be a little bit more creative on offense to get these guys going. There's too much talent, man. You got to keep the ball in Malachi Tony's hand. That dude is special. And he is going to break one on the punt. It may be against SMU. Who knows? But yeah, tell the 2 halves, man. Tell the 2 halves. Going in the halftime 7-7 pissed me off, man, because I felt like we should have been up more, but it is what it is. About the college football playoff picture, Miami really is in the driver's seat, in my opinion, to be in the college football playoff if they win out. We all know that, right? If they win out, they're more than likely going to be in. You will only have the 1 loss to Louisville, and so you finish at 11-1. If Miami does not make it to the ACC championship game, it might be a blessing. Listen to this. Anytime you play a football game, you're going to risk injuries. You're going to risk, you risk losing, right? If you can play 1 less game, I mean, why wouldn't you, right? So if Miami doesn't make it in the ACC championship game, I'm good with them playing in, missing out, right? I'm good with them missing out. Now, I don't know how the seeding is going to be if they don't make it to the conference championship game, but say they're in one of those 1 through 4 slots, because there's a lot more football to play. Miami could very well rise up into one of those top 4 slots. Remember, it doesn't matter if you're the champion. You don't get the bye. If Miami rises to one of those top 4 slots at 11-1 at the end of the season, don't play in the ACC championship game, they get a bye. They get a bye without even having to worry about going through the gauntlet of ACC championship game and risking the injuries, prior to starting the CFP. So to me, they're in a good position. Now, I think with like undefeated Georgia Tech or somebody like that still up there. And I believe, they are ahead of us. I don't think they will move if Georgia Tech just continues out undefeated, I don't think they move Miami into a top 4 if you have Georgia Tech in the top 4. That's kind of like the only little asterisk I would put next to that, because now you would potentially say Georgia Tech finishes out undefeated, they win the ACC championship, then how do you put it in 11-1? You lost to Louisville, you lost the one ACC game ahead of an undefeated ACC champion for that final college football playoff. I think you would need Georgia Tech to get at least one loss for that scenario to work out in Miami's favor to rise into that top 4, provided Georgia Tech keeps rolling. But you never know, man. Can you imagine that Miami don't play in the ACC championship game but still rises into the top 4 to get a first round bye? Now that will be awesome. That will be they of course they'll tweak the system the next year, because there's no way you can do that. But I will say this though, man. If you compare college football to the NFL, nobody's talking much about that game yesterday with the Miami Hurricanes and Stanford. Well, the reason I say that is because when you in the NFL, I mean, you win. Like, hey, you can win on a field goal, and it's like, man, we moving on to the next round. We don't care. We won. We beat them. We beat them by one field goal. We beat them barely in overtime. But in college football, we look at it like, man, we didn't beat that team. It was 25-point spread or whatever the case. And we didn't beat them, bad enough. I think we need to start changing our mindset with college football and start accepting the fact that some of these games are going to be closer. It's going to be some closer games, and you're going to have to, we got to start accepting the fact that, hey, we beat this team by 7 points. Well, we beat Florida State by 3 points, and you accept that as W, and you put it behind you and you move forward. The dominance. Being able to dominate teams, you're going to have a couple games like that a year, but I think a lot more games are going to be closer. That's just my opinion about it, and I think we need to start changing our mindset on that. It's hard to do because you look at Miami on the field with a team like Stanford, and you think we should run away with that game. We did in the second half, but in that first half, things were close. If that was an NFL game, we would be celebrating. Because man, what a big victory. Even if we won it by field goal, we'd be celebrating today. But if Miami beat Stanford by a field goal, we'd be scratching our head wondering what's wrong with the team. So I think just overall we just need to change our mindset on that when it comes to college football. It's changing. College football landscape is changing. So anyway, good victory for the Hurricanes. Still that first half, like I just mentioned. That first half is, kind of got me scratching my head because just I didn't see that creativity on the offensive side. But obviously Miami is a running team. They want to grind it and beat you on the ground, and that seems like that's the identity of the team. So if a team stacks 11 people in a box, Miami's going to still try to run the ball up the middle. That's the identity of the team. We're what 6-7 games in. That is the identity of the team. That is who we are. You can't get down by a lot of points, because you're not going to be able to come back with putting together 13 to 17 play drives. You don't have the explosiveness to come back quickly, similar to what we did last year, where we were able to come back quick. Cam Ward was able to get us back in the games quickly from 2 possession deficits. That's not the case this year. We saw that against Louisville last year. So this team can't get behind because they're just a grind them, slow, eat up the clock type of team or offense. So anyway, we'll take the win. On to the next one. Miami got to go 5-0 now. To me, to make it to college football playoff, they need to win this thing out, man. I don't think a 2-loss ACC team is getting in. It's just my opinion. So anyway, good victory. We'll take it. We got to clean up some, we adjusted in that first half, but to me, Miami hasn't put together 4 straight quarters against any team. They have not put together 4 great quarters or 4 good, just solid quarters against anybody we played this year, which is kind of scary considering we were 6-1. That's scary. If this team is able to put it together from A to Z, man, we'll see. On the SMU, it's going to be a tough game on the road. But I think we can definitely go there and knock them out. We should be able to win this game comfortably. But then again, it's Miami Hurricanes, coached by Mario. We'll see. That's all I got. Nitty out, man.